Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to share with you a super trade that I took day trading pound dollar this week. I managed to take away a pretty big win in this trade, trading two positions. And I'm going to break those down with you in the charts in just a moment, sharing with you the exact strategy that I used to really let my winner run. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Emily and on Mindfully Trading I share my journey as I grow and develop as a Forex trader. I've been day trading the markets overall for about 6 years now, originally starting day trading stocks, but now I focus on day trading the Forex markets, primarily pound against the dollar. I also share educational tips to help you along the way, especially if you are a beginner. Recently I have just launched a new ebook this year, How to Trade Forex for Beginners. There's a link to that below in the description if you want to find out more. And I do all this trading my live account with Vantage and also my account with 5%ers, the prop firm that I use to trade a larger account. I'll talk a little bit more about them later in the video. But for now, let's dive onto the chart so I can break down this trade with you, showing my strategy and some tips to help you to let your winners run. Let's get to it. It's already starting to get warm here in the UK. I love this time of year when the sun returns. It's so good to get some sunshine. But even though I've had a busy week looking after my boys, playing out in the sun, planting some seeds in our garden and generally doing all the things to do in the week, still managed to walk away with this nice winner right here on pound dollar. And this to me is just the absolute liberating beauty of day trading, is because you can have a busy lifestyle and you can still go in the markets and make some money, which feels really, really good. Now, as you can see, I've only taken one trade this week. Although there are two positions, it was one trade because I took this on the Tuesday, and after I hit 4.5R returns, which has blasted past my weekly target, I figured I do not want to trade anymore this week. I was quite happy with that. I was quite happy to walk away and enjoy the rest of my week after hitting my target. And so this is what the trade looks like. This is what I'm going to break down with you on the charts in just a moment, sharing with you my process on how I calculated exactly where to get into this trade, what time, each step-by-step part of this trade. Well, I just wanted to show you this data here in the broker. This is my platform with the 5%ers in MetaTrader 5 because it's always good to see the real trade data, so you know that I took this. I aren't just looking at this on the charts and planning what had already happened. This is a real trade that I took. I know there are a lot of traders out there who share a lot of their journey on YouTube, and quite often they will just find some textbook trade setups on the charts and share it to you, but it's not actually trades they've taken in the live markets. A lot of people can do that. It's quite easy to analyze a market when you know what's happened. But this is a real trade that I took, so let's break that down now. So I have hopped here onto the daily time frame. This is on my charting software on TradingView. Been using them for years and they're brilliant. And all of my analysis always starts on the daily, the higher time frame, because it is the time frame of authority. It's where you can gain key levels and you can gain a perspective on where price may be drawn to, which can really help to make decisions for a bias intraday, whether you're going to look for a long or short position. And so on the daily, let's just zoom into the most recent price action. And it's good to get an overall view of the market. So from here, we can first of all establish that we've got a high up here. Price has been trending lower because we broke this structure and we made a little pullback and we made a low here, which tapped into a longer time frame perspective here on the daily level. Since then, we had a push up breaking this structure. So short term, the daily has been trending higher, a little pullback here. But as you can see, these last few candles have been very small. It's almost started to lose its momentum to the upside. And the interesting thing about this candle zooming in here on the Friday is it is a big pin bar. So we've got a large wick rejecting the highs here. Now this can indicate that it's losing momentum to the upside, and it can indicate that it's due to have a drop. So on the Monday, I didn't trade Monday, and as you can see here, the closing candle was actually an inside bar. It didn't break Friday's low and it didn't break Friday's high. And this further solidified my kind of thought that we were losing momentum to the upside, and I felt like if we were going to get a break below the lows here, then that could give a really good position for a short. But if I was going to look short, where would price be likely to pull back to? Well, I like to use the Fibonacci retracement tool from the low here, and I'll drop it at the high of the body. And that's because we have broken this structure, so I do think the daily long term is going to be drawn to this area up here, which is the next structural high. But it kind of needs to take a breath. It can't just keep moving. It has to breathe in, it has to breathe out. And so I think that it might pull back to this area here on the fib. So I simply mark the 3 levels of optimum trade entry there with this rectangle just to keep my charts tidy. And this for me is a little idea, as if it breaks this structure, it may pull back here for some support before bouncing higher. Now that's one scenario I'm looking at, and that's where I'd be looking at shorting and aiming for. Now I've jumped onto the 4-hourly time frame, and I've also jumped forwards in time a little bit because, as I said, I didn't trade on the Monday because we didn't get a break of the high or the low of the previous day. There was no momentum, and for me as an intraday trader, there was no reason to get into the trade. I like to wait to see what price is going to do and then get in. So on the Tuesday it opened up and I already had this short bias, but I was waiting for confirmation. I wanted it to either break the previous daily low, or I wanted it to pull back to an interesting area. Now the first thing I do here on the 4-hourly time frame is I look at the most recent candle, which for the 2 o'clock in the morning close, so this would have been 6 o'clock in the morning for me here GMT, this was a bearish candle down, so intraday we are dropping down. And I'm already short biased, so at this point I drop to a faster time frame because it just clarified my short bias, to look for a potential area to get into for a short. Once I have my larger time frame perspective, I'm short biased. Once I have confirmation from the 4-hourly time frame in the form of a candlestick, so either a bearish or a bullish candlestick, I then look at intraday price action to gain an idea of the structure of the current day to see whether I can get into a position. So I drop to the 15-minute time frame, and you can see this dotted line here, this vertical line. This indicates the start of the Tuesday, which was the day that I took this trade. Now I looked at this around about 7 o'clock in the morning because it was just before my boys got out of bed and just before the London session began. And what I did here was I simply used my Fibonacci retracement tool and I dropped it from the high of the day and I dropped it to the low of the day. And that's because the daily open was here. And from the daily open, we had already tried to, well, we'd already initially made a low. We had made a high, but then price broke the low and it went down. We made another pullback and then it went down. So intraday, we are already swinging lower, which to me, again, just clarifies my bias as being short. So that's why I'm using the fib from the high here, dropping it at the low, because I'm looking for an entry for a short without selling at the lows. We don't want to do that. We want to sell higher up. So once again, I'm going to just mark the 3 levels of optimum trade entry here with the rectangle tool so I can tidy my charts. And they are the 62%, the 70% and the 79% levels. At this point, I very simply set an alert here. It's not letting me do it because I'm in backtesting mode, but I set an alert there on the Tuesday morning, and then I walked away, carried on with my day, got the boys breakfast, and on the Tuesday we had to go and do our food shop, so I got on with my jobs basically. Meanwhile, during the London session, price just continued to sort of trade down a little bit, and then we started to curl back up. In the afternoon, the New York session had opened, and as you can see, price pushed into this area. Now, my alert went off on my phone, which meant that it was trade o'clock for me. And at this point, I had those normal doubts that people can sometimes experience. Am I making the right decision? Should I get in short? Price is pushing up here with some momentum. Is it likely to reverse and carry on up? But then I thought, well, no, I've got to trust my overall plan. It's using daily levels, it's using the larger time frame, and it's using this intraday structure. And the thing that I thought was interesting, again, just zooming out here on the 15 minutes, is that we had a close below this little level here. So we're already breaking lows on this larger perspective. So I set a trade here. I set one just at the low of this fib tool, 57. And I used a 15 pip stop, which placed my stop just above these points here. And initially my target was 1.5R, which is my usual target for intraday trading. price consolidated a little bit around my entry. And at this point, I dropped to the 5-minute time frame because you can generally get a lot more information from the 5 minutes. And when I saw this pattern, I started to feel a little bit more relaxed that my trade was working out, because we had this sort of battle going on here between the buyers and the sellers. But then this candlestick here dropped down and it broke these little intraday lows of structure there, which for me was the change in behavior. The momentum was coming into the downside and it started to swing lower. So at this point, I felt like that was the confirmation I needed to show that we are getting the shift from being a long bias to short. And I actually decided at that point to set another sell position. Now I set it a little bit lower, and I set my alert here as well to let me know when I was getting into the trade. I used the same stop, which was above the structure, but I used a much larger target, and I initially aimed for a 3R target. Now this was quite interesting because previously I would have probably tried to target this area down here, which would have been about a 5R target, because this is a good liquidity grab and I think price is likely to retest that. However, recently over the past few weeks, I've not had a lot of luck with runners. I have set a larger target and simply it's not hit and it's turned against me. So I didn't want to get too greedy. I didn't want to aim too high. I wanted to make some extra money, but I wanted to just be happy with what I got. So I set a larger target than usual, but still quite a modest target of 3R. And then as you can see, price dipped up and it just tapped me in rather beautifully to the trade. And from there, we got a really nice drop down, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I hit my first target, my 1.5R target. And at this point, I then went to break even on my runner. So Tuesday evening, I could sleep nicely because I had already hit my target from one trade. The other trade was open, but with a break-even stop. So I had no risk and I was already up on the week. That's the way I like to trade. And as you can see, as the evening progressed, it actually hit that target Tuesday evening. So it was a really good day for Tuesday, good day's winnings. There is a part of me that thinks that perhaps I could have tried to aim to get more profits, because if I just move this forward in time, this is the weekly overview now, each individual day for this week. This is the Tuesday and the trade I took, and as you can see, price pretty much continued to sell off into Wednesday, and then especially Thursday we had this dip down. And if I just replace my stop here and drag this down, you can see that actually it would have moved 6R, so double what I actually made on this trade. So there was potential to make a lot more money on that runner, but this happens with trading. Sometimes you can set a larger target and it doesn't hit and then you lose money. Sometimes you can set a smaller target and you could have made more money. It's the nature of the game, and I've found from my experience that you have to just manage your risk effectively, be realistic, and practice the art of just being happy and grateful with what you get, rather than having that dissatisfied, I could do better feeling. From my opinion, as long as you finish green, not red, you are a winner. And for those of you who have been asking how I've been getting on with my prop firm, my program challenge for the 5%ers, I'm currently in the instant funding, the hyper growth program. I've been in this program for a couple of months now, and I'm just taking it slow and steady because, as you guys know, I'm a busy mother, busy lifestyle. I'm not on the charts day trading every single day. I just have a weekly target that I aim to hit, and I trust in the long-term growth of that. And as you can see, it's working quite well. I have had my fair share of little dips on the account, which is natural in trading. You can't win all the time, but at the moment as it stands, this win has put me back to all-time highs, which is really good. So I'm just under halfway towards hitting that target on the account. And I think that's quite interesting. A lot of people can have different thoughts when it comes to trading. There are so many people out there who want to get rich quick. They want to make millions in a matter of months. And from my experience, from my perspective and my opinion, of course, it's all opinion based. I'm not a financial advisor. But for me, it seems that that doesn't exist. You don't get rich quick in this game. It can happen if you are lucky, and it has happened. And there are videos up there of people who have shown that they don't tend to show the videos of where they lose it again. But I am interested in trading in a way that is consistent and that does make a lot of money long term, because money makes money in this game, and I am simply just taking my time, trusting the process to get to the result. And this is why I can do that, because the account that I'm trading with the 5%ers has so much potential here. So I'm right at the beginning with the $20,000 balance, but every time you hit 10% profit, they double the account. So it takes a little bit of time, I accept that, but if you can follow a process that works, if you consistently make money, so for me, I hit my weekly targets, I know that eventually it's going to scale up to the big account size where you can really capitalize on making big money. That's my goal anyway. How about yourself? Do you have goals that you use when you're trading? It would be great to hear how you keep focused and motivated. Do let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, if you've enjoyed the video, please let me know by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.